Survival Speaks is the name at the end of the day. All right, what's up? What's up? What's up? I'm not hearing anything. I think I'm having issues with my I think I'm having issues with my might be having some issues with that's not it. Uh, Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I think I'm having issues. Yeah, I think I'm having some issues here. Don't hear anything. Hold on. All right. Hold on. Let me see what's going on with my I don't understand why I'm having I don't hear. Gotta be something going on. If it was nothing going on. Oh, it wouldn't be me. Hold on. It's going, but it's not. Here, I'll give you 1 second. Who is in the chat? Is Ali in here? Ali, are you here or no? Because for some strange reason, having the whole issue, I don't hear anything. I might have to go out and restart my computer because I don't know what's going on. I can't hear anything. I think I have to go out and come back in. I'm not hearing anything. Something's going on with my system, I believe. Let me restart. I'm gonna just restart this whole live. What's up, y'all? I'm back. Um, my system, I had to shut the system down and come back. So let's see if that worked or not. Hopefully I am logged in. Hold on, let me see. Ali, are you in here? Can you give me a number one if you can hear me? Because for some reason I am not able to hear. Are you in here? Can you hear me? Because I'm not here. Hold on a minute. All right, so you are hearing me. I don't know why I am just not hearing myself. Thank you so much. As you can see, it's been I didn't even get to post anywhere. It has just been crazy. This little system over here is getting my nerve. I don't know what's going on, but um give me 1 second. So we're going to go over that react to the press conference. I think I know exactly what's going on, but I can't. It's not showing me my. I don't know why my system thing is not coming up so I can connect my mic. I get lost when I don't hear, when I'm unable to hear. And so I don't know why my system it keeps doing this. But just give me 1 second so I can see if I could connect, because if not, it's going to drive me crazy. Give me 1 second. Let me see if this will. All this stuff is over here like this. Uh, let's see if it'll open now. Nope. This is actually crazy work right here. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Yep, there it is. That was the thing. It wasn't it's not connected. I couldn't hear myself. It drives. I need to be able to hear. I need to be able to hear because if I don't, it's connected now. What's going on? All right. So, oh yeah, there it is. So, thank you so much for being patient. It's if it wouldn't be me if I wasn't what I call struggle streaming. This is crazy. But anyway, we're gonna react to the we watched the Tony Carruthers uh interview. Well, we listened to him, but we watched it on the Danza Project's channel. Shout out to the Danza Project. Um, And so we're now going to look at the press conference that his attorney um, did after the failed execution attempt. So just give me one moment. I was hoping to have this already sent over to Instagram, and I didn't. So, because I don't know what's going on. All right. Let me just put this in my YouTube story just in case somebody wants to come over. We're live on X. Shout out to anyone watching on X. We would gladly appreciate it if you could come over here to YouTube and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, so that you'll know. It's a free way to support our channel and get it pushed out into the algorithm. And so, thank you so much for understanding my plight right now. Just give me a minute. I just need to get something over. Here on Instagram and oh, all right. So I put it over there. What's going on, y'all? Definitely a met. Hey, Denitra, glad to see you here. Thank you so much. Hit the like button, please. Share the video if you can. We're going to be looking at the press conference of the failed execution attempt of Tony Carruthers. And if you watched the video from yesterday, this is a sad, sad, sad case. And I think it's a little more, it's worse than what we thought, right? Ali, because I just caught just like the first, I haven't watched the conference yet, but I did listen like to the first couple of seconds. And it's actually worse than what we thought from listening to Mr. Carruthers, speak about the failed execution tip, in his own words. It's actually a little worse because we were like, okay, so they attempted to shoot him with the poison maybe 5 to 6 times. It's worse than that, and his attorney says it right up front in the beginning of the video. So we're going to be reacting to the press conference after the execution of Mr. Carruthers was halted, and Fox and Nashville News will be cited in the description. I'll have the link to the video in the description once the live is done. But we're going to hear what his attorneys has to say about what happened to Mr. Carruthers. I also need to get those hashtags that I should have already had in the description to show Mr. Carruthers some support. Some things are, some things happen. I believe that everything happens for a reason. And in this case, I do believe that this was God's intervention, because there is no way that this man should still be alive after they attempted to take his life. According to what we know, right now, according to Mr. Carruthers, if we are going to go by what he shared in his interview, he has not had a fair trial. So I think that this is uh, a a bit crazy that they were willing to put this man to sleep permanently, because I'm trying to find a way to say the word without YouTube flagging it for whatever reason. And he has not, according to what he told us, he has not had a fair trial. I'll say it and I'll say it again. I will never be able to sit on a DP case. I don't believe in playing God. That's just what I believe. And I will ride the LWAP train all day long. But as far as taking somebody's life, it doesn't make a difference what crimes they have committed. I personally just would not be able to make that decision. Because I just think at some point that we are playing God. And then also, I do believe that LWAP is it's worse than the DP. Because a lot of people that know that they're never going to touch the streets again, what do they have to lose? And some of them fight because they don't want the DP. But when they start that LWAP sentence, I can guarantee you a lot of the people that do have LWAP, which is life without the possibility of parole, I'm going to say that so, if you can understand, I just like to shorten it, LWAP. They are probably wish that they did have the DP. I just don't believe in that. So I say give them LWAP. I worked in the jail, so I know what goes on in the jail. You've already taken their freedom because of the crime they committed. There are a lot of innocent people that are incarcerated. That's another reason why I don't. That's number two. Number one being I'm not going to play God. Number two, meaning that there are people that are executed and they are not guilty of the crime that they committed, so they never have a chance. Somebody just walked out of jail the other day, served 30 something years, and comes to find out they were innocent based on new technology, new ways of being able to test evidence. um, they're always updating systems and things like that, and so they are able to do like more extensive testing, and some of these people are incarcerated and they're not guilty anyway. But then on the other hand, we do have some people that are incarcerated that need to just sit there for the rest of their lives every day. LWAP, same squares, queue, looking at the same walls. You can go take a shower now. You can't take a shower now. You can use the phone now. You can't use the phone now. Some people have committed, some heinous crimes, and that's exactly where they need to be. But we do, unfortunately, there are innocent people that are incarcerated. And for that, that's the second reason I believe that LWAP is the better possibility. Um, it's the better choice, for these types of instances. So that's just me, though. Um, let me make sure. Am I? This is not showing. Let me just see. I can see from here. Let me see. I'm just trying to see if I can hear. Are we not hearing? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay. Thank you, Allie, for the trigger warning, because definitely we're gonna need that. So we're gonna get right into the video. And drop a one in the chat if you can hear the video. I just want to make sure we're able to hear it because I have been experiencing some technical difficulties. All right, so where's my video? I do have that up. All right, here it is. So many tabs open. And once again, shout out to Ali. Thank you so much for getting this over to me. I do appreciate you and all you do for the channel and staying around as I work through the mess that because my life is life right about now. So let's see, let's get it over here. Let me make sure we have the right thing. Yeah. How about we want to do a full screen? Yeah, thank you. All right, here we go. All right, so let me turn down the music. We'll get right into this. So we're using the video under the Fair Act disclaimer of 1976 and all of that. The copyright, it is in the statute, it is in the description. So all of that stuff is there. So let's listen to what Mr. Carruthers' attorneys had to say about his failed execution afterward.
Botched an attempted execution of our client, Tony Carruthers. They subjected him to over an hour and a half of torture as incompetent medical personnel attempted to place an IV line. They poked and poked and poked him more than a dozen times in his arms, his hands, his feet, and his chest. We're grateful to Governor Lee for doing the right thing and stepping in and issuing a reprieve for Mr. Carruthers.
Ali, can you guys
But that reprieve will not solve the problems with Tennessee's lethal injection protocol. There's more that needs to be done. What happened to Mr. Carruthers on Thursday was not just foreseeable, it was in fact foreseen. For over a year, attorneys for this office have been engaged in litigation in Chancery Court under the case name Burns versus Strada, letting the TDOC and the Attorney Generals know what is wrong with the 2025 lethal injection protocol. Unfortunately, TDOC chose to ignore the warnings, and Mr. Carruthers suffered as a result. We're here today because we're calling on Governor Lee to let the courts decide the Burns case before subjecting anyone else to the lethal injection protocol and to the sort of torture that Mr. Carruthers suffered on Thursday. To that end, we respectfully ask Governor Lee to extend the reprieve, to pause all executions until the Burns litigation is complete. To explain why a pause in all executions is needed, Kit Thomas, the Deputy Chief of our Capital Habeas Unit and a member of the Burns litigation team, will speak about the Burns litigation and the defects in the 2025 protocol. We also have copies of the Burns complaint that will be available when you leave. For those who are watching on Zoom, that complaint is available in the chat. After Ms. Thomas speaks, you will hear from Maria Deliberato, who is senior counsel at the ACLU's Capital Punishment Project, who was with Mr. Carruthers on Thursday and was witness to the botched execution.
Good afternoon. My name is Kit Thomas, and I'm the Deputy Chief of the Capital Habeas Unit. Like Amy said, I'm here to talk about our lawsuit challenging Tennessee's 2025 lethal injection protocol, and I'll start with some background. In April 2022, Oscar Smith was an hour away from his execution. He was taking his last communion with a spiritual advisor and his attorney when the warden arrived to tell him that the execution was off. We later learned that in the hours before Mr. Smith's scheduled execution, officials were scrambling to figure out whether the TDOC official in charge of lethal injection drugs had ensured that the required testing had been done. As it turned out, it had not. Had an attorney in our office not asked for the testing results, TDOC would have proceeded with the execution in violation of its own protocol. After granting Mr. Smith a reprieve, Governor Lee ordered an independent investigation of TDOC's administration of executions by lethal injection. Specifically, he stated that he expected, quote, the Tennessee Department of Correction to leave no question that procedures are correctly followed. That investigation was conducted by Tennessee-based law firm Butler Snow and was led by former U.S. Attorney Edward Stanton. Ultimately, the investigation revealed pervasive noncompliance by TDOC with its own lethal injection procedures. In the wake of the Stanton report, Governor Lee ordered TDOC to revise those procedures. And 2 years later, the department announced the 2025 lethal injection protocol. When our team first reviewed that new protocol, we were shocked to see that TDOC's primary change was to remove clear and specific procedural requirements and protections in favor of amorphous standards. TDOC didn't solve the problems identified in the Stanton report. It concealed them behind vaguer rules and weaker safeguards. Our office immediately challenged the new protocol on behalf of several men on Tennessee's death row, and that lawsuit remains pending in Davidson County Chancery Court. The complaint raises a number of concerns, including some that are particularly relevant to what happened to Tony Carruthers. One of those concerns was the obvious and well-known risk that TDOC's execution participants would be unable to establish reliable IV access. Difficulty establishing IV lines is not a hypothetical problem in executions. It's a known complication that has caused prolonged and botched executions across this country for years. That is precisely why competence, training, and clear procedures matter so much. The complaint specifically warned that the 2025 protocol failed to ensure that execution participants were sufficiently trained, qualified, and prepared to establish IV access safely and reliably. We also raised a concern about the protocol's failure to provide telephone access to the attorney witness should something go wrong during an execution. TDOC ignored those warnings. Repeatedly throughout the litigation, TDOC has been dismissive of our concerns as speculative. But there's nothing speculative about what happened to Tony Carruthers last Thursday. Last Thursday, multiple execution participants, including Dr. Mark Fowler, repeatedly failed to establish IV access while Mr. Carruthers remained strapped to a gurney for approximately 90 minutes awaiting his execution. That failure wasn't unforeseeable. It was predicted, and TDOC went ahead anyway. What Mr. Carruthers experienced last Thursday may be the starkest example yet of TDOC's errors and ineptitude, but it was not an isolated incident. Even a brief review of TDOC's 2025 executions demonstrates that under the current protocol, the department cannot be trusted to carry out executions reliably in the name of the people of Tennessee. In its first execution under the new protocol, that of Oscar Smith in May of last year, TDOC failed to properly document Mr. Smith's EKG activity. Specifically, the department neglected to install a printer on their EKG machine, so there was no printout of his cardiac activity. In addition, TDOC claims to be unable to produce any readable electronic data from that EKG machine. Notably, TDOC's execution physician admitted under oath that he didn't look at the EKG data when declaring Mr. Smith dead. 2 months later, during Byron Black's execution in
Hold on, wait a minute. Wait a whole daggone minute. Hold on, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that something as simple, that is something that is simple to have an EKG reader, and that is something that is required in all states. They have to have the EKG hooked up with the printer to show. It's part of how they show whether or not the drug is effective or not. Because the goal is, like, even though you're giving them the poison to go, it's already, people think that they just give them the needle and they go immediately. That's not it. They go through, the organs and stuff start to shut down first. So it is all very, it's a disturbing process, but the end result is death. So they actually torture before they stop breathing. But all of these things are mandated in every state that has where the DP is allowed, and that is the bare minimum for these people to be professionals, to not even have the EKG printer. So what did they hook up? A printer that you're printing paperwork off of a printer from? I'm confused. Incompetent is not even enough. Is there a word that is worse than that? What are we talking about here? What's up for all? We thank you so much for coming in. What are we talking? Like, is incompetent even a bad enough word to use here? So, and then what behooves me is that they knew before even attempting to start the executions, they knew that they did not have everything in process the way that they needed to proceed with these executions, because they're talking about another case here too. So that's that is not lost on me. They're talking about another case here too. But even though this is about Mr. Carruthers, they are speaking of a different case. So it's just, incompetent is not a great enough word for me. So I have another thought. I'm thinking that the way these people are thinking, well, we're taking their lives anyway, so it doesn't matter whether we have the things that we legally need to have in place. As long as we get to the end result, we should be fine. What in the whole entire? All right, y'all. Let's go ahead with this conference. Let's listen.
In August, witnesses reported that Mr. Black lifted his head, moved his feet, groaned, and reported being in pain. By then, TDOC had acquired a printer for its EKG machine. Nevertheless, Dr. Fowler once again failed to consult the EKG data before pronouncing death. Had he done so, he would have seen that Mr. Black's heart was still beating at the time he was declared dead. Which brings us to Mr. Carruthers' botched execution attempt last Thursday. Last month, our office sent repeated requests to TDOC asking for confirmation that it did not plan to use expired drugs to execute Mr. Carruthers. Despite attorneys for the state having previously offered assurances that they would not use expired drugs in an earlier execution, TDOC conspicuously refused to provide any such assurances to Mr. Carruthers. A refusal to provide important information is unfortunately typical for TDOC. It's only by chance that we know that TDOC's execution physician, Dr. Mark Fowler, is underqualified. Normally, TDOC relies on a state secrecy law to prevent the public from learning the identities and qualifications of their execution participants. Every once in a while, though, TDOC slips up and unwittingly discloses one of those concealed identities. During the execution of Mr. Black, a TDOC official did just that when he named Dr. Fowler in front of media witnesses. During our deposition of Dr. Fowler, he admitted that he had placed a central line only a handful of times, more than a decade ago, and that during one procedure, he had experienced complications. He also admitted that he doesn't have privileges to set central lines at any hospital in the country.
I gotta stop it right there. What in the whole entire? So, Allie, thank you so much for this, because this actually brings clarity to what we heard yesterday. He doesn't even have the credentials to do to. I can't even. So that means that he's not qualified. Dr. Fowler is not qualified. Now, this is the man that Mr. Carruthers said looked in the crowd to ask, did anybody know how to, oh my goodness, go in his jugular, because they had tried. At the beginning, I'm not sure if that was missed. She said over 12 times they poked Mr. Carruthers. This is a doctor. This is supposed to be a doctor, but he's not qualified to centrally to complete a central procedure to try to put these people to death. So why is he even in the room? Why is he carrying out executions? And then if we understand what she's saying, on top of all of that, the drug was expired. Oh my goodness. This is so wrong on so many levels. Allie, you're 100% right. Unethical. I'm telling you, the way these people may be thinking, they're going to perish anyway. So who cares? No, there's still protocol that you have to follow. You can't just be out here just sticking people and guessing where you stick them. And what doctor doesn't know how to get to access an IV line? Normally, when the nurses, the phlebotomists, that normally, start IV lines, if they are not able to get the lines, depending on where you are, they may have a phlebotomist manager that may, come down and try to start the line. Or the next step up is the doctor comes in and the doctor does it. Trust me, I know. I've been through enough chemo, and now because I have had chemo, it's limited areas that they can go and start a line on me. Most blow up. I have small veins and they roll. So I actually know about this. And if you're having a hard time getting a line, they're now advanced at what they do is they use an ultrasound to look and find a vein, and it guides they look at the ultrasound, they can see a vein that they cannot visually see with their eye, and the ultrasound kind of like guides them into the vein and allows them to start the line. So since that is very new, and when I was in the hospital the last time, or any time that I have to go for something like that, they normally use the ultrasound to find a vein to start an IV on me. I'm a layperson. I don't work in the hospital, but I'm just, and this is a doctor and he doesn't know. Yeah, they just doing all types of stuff everywhere. And wouldn't you know that, I forgot as of what date is coming up. A lot of people have paid and still owe so much money for loans that they took out for degrees. And this administration, what they have done is they've listed a whole list of professions now or degrees that they're saying are going to be non-existent. When I say that, there's a lot of degrees that are geared, towards healthcare that really, really mean something, like physician assistant or something like that. What in the whole entire world is going on here? That's because most of the people that are in office right now in this oh my gosh, they just get on my nerve. Most of them aren't qualified for their jobs, so I guess they feel like they should be doing that everywhere. I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me. It's sad. It's a shame. But this right here is the most unethical BS that I've heard in a long freaking time. So you basically torture these inmates because they're inmates, and thank goodness for news media, because if you listen to what she said, they heard the news media heard the doctor saying these things, that he's not qualified to do any of this. This is crazy.
Attorneys for TDOC were in the room defending that deposition when Dr. Fowler made those admissions. They knew he wasn't competent to place the central line, and yet they continued to pay him to serve as their physician for the execution of Tony Carruthers. Before I turn things over to Maria, I want to reemphasize one point. TDOC was warned. For more than a year, we warned that the 2025 protocol failed to ensure that execution participants were adequately trained and competent to establish IV access. We warned that the attorney witnesses needed prompt telephone access in the event something went wrong. TDOC dismissed our warnings, and Mr. Carruthers paid the price. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. As Amy mentioned, my name is Maria DeLiberato. I am senior counsel with the ACLU, and I represent Tony Carruthers. And I want to talk about Tony Carruthers because I don't represent any other client in Tennessee. I've been a capital defense lawyer for 20 years, practicing primarily in Florida, and Tony is my priority. And not only did I bear witness while Tony was tortured last week, but for the last 8 weeks, we have been asking Governor Lee and the Attorney General to do basic forensic testing to prove what Tony's been saying for 30 years, that he didn't commit this crime. So we already had an execution set that was going to be of someone who was likely innocent, who had maintained his innocence, and who the state refused to answer basic questions about. What happened next was beyond barbaric. And I spoke to a lot of you after the execution on Thursday, the execution attempt, and I'm happy to answer questions, and I'll walk through a few things that have stood out to me over the last 5 days as I've continued to process this horror. The telephone. I can't explain to you how absurd it is that an attorney for a death row client who is about to be executed can't get access to a telephone. Let me tell you what happened. So I knew that there was a phone in the chamber, in the execution chamber, and I had a phone number written down on my arm so that I could use it in case I didn't have my notepad, in case something went wrong. It became clear very early on that they weren't going to be able to establish access. I noticed that the Department of Corrections said they quickly established access in the right arm. I wouldn't describe it as quick. It took about 7 minutes for them to first get venous access in his right arm. Then they moved to the left side, and it was immediately apparent that this was not going well. I could see the looks on the faces of the personnel. They were exerting physical force, grunting, trying to get the vein in his body over and over, asking for a bigger needle, a smaller needle, a different needle. Each needle, clink, 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 into the little tray on the receptacle. It's really difficult to describe to you all because you weren't in the room. It was absolute agony from an emotional standpoint, and then it became physical. So once it became clear that they were unable to establish access, I leaned over to the warden and I asked him, how long are you going to let this go on? And he said, until they tell me to stop. And at that point I said, I need to use the phone. He didn't direct me to the phone that was behind him. The Attorney General in the room, who had a cell phone in his pocket, didn't offer me his cell phone. The warden, who had a cell phone in his pocket, didn't offer me his cell phone. Instead, they make me go out of the chamber, away from my client. The only person in the room who is there to speak for him, they take me out. They take me to the death watch cells. There's a lot of panic. What phone? Where should we take her? Where should we go? They first go out, then we come back in. There's phones that Mr. Carruthers had used to call me over the last couple of days since when he was in that death watch chamber. They were on the floor and they weren't plugged in. They had to plug in a telephone for me to be able to use it. We're standing there, my client is being tortured in the next room, and I'm waiting for the telephone lights to light up so that I can call the lawyers on the outside and tell them it is going horribly wrong. That is inexcusable. There is no excuse for that when the Attorney General is pulling a phone out of his pocket and calling his co-counsel. We were able, of course, to get word on the outside to what was happening. I was notified that the doctor who had came in and introduced himself as Dr. Fowler to Mr. Carruthers, that he was not qualified to place the central line, and there was discussion as to whether that's what he was going to do next. So when I reported what was happening, and my understanding was they were going to be filing in the courts and reaching out to the governor to stop this execution. So when we went back in, there was discussion about whether or not he was going to place the central line. I objected. I said he's not qualified. He's admitted so. He snaps back at me. He, Dr. Fowler, who is supposed to be doing this procedure, snaps back, I am too qualified. And the warden tells him to do his job and tells me to let him. They start the process. Before they do the central line, the doctor asks, is anybody here qualified to assess jugular access? The doctor's asking that question. One of the other people on the medical team said yes. They turned the lights down, they got a vein finder, they tried to search on Tony's neck for a vein, and he said we are not able to get jugular access. They continued, they searched his feet, they searched his hands. I lost count of how many times they poked him. I certainly hope that the department kept the number of syringes that they used, because I can still hear the clinking in the receptacle, and it was a lot. So when the doctor's deciding now he's going to place the central line, he pushes lidocaine into Tony's chest. Before he does that, he says, does anyone know if the patient is allergic to lidocaine? The patient? This is a doctor who took an oath to do no harm and is about to kill a man and calls him the patient. Nobody knows the answer to that question. They asked Tony. He's like, I don't think so. He's in obvious distress. They give him the lidocaine, and it takes about 5 minutes. The doctor says we're going to wait 5 minutes. I again demand to use the phone. We can't use the phone in the chamber, can't use the phone in anyone's pocket, so we walk all the way back out, go back out, and I use the phone again, and I explain what's going on. We go back inside. It is an hour has elapsed at this point. And they are getting ready, Dr. Fowler is getting ready to try to insert the central line in Tony's chest. He gets his scalpel and he starts pressing, and he says, can you feel that? And Tony says, it hurts, it hurts. And the doctor says, it's just pressure. And he cuts him. And y'all that were out there heard the moaning and the groaning. And I saw the blood and the puncture wound. And he couldn't get it in. And he tried again. Saw a second puncture wound. More groaning, moaning. He's absolutely oblivious. This doctor is oblivious to the fact that he is causing agony to Mr. Carruthers. And eventually he says, I can't get a central line. They still don't stop. They go back to the same arm where there's already an IV, and they start poking in Tony's shoulder. He's been stabbed in the chest twice now, at least. They keep going in the shoulder. They say that they have access in the shoulder. I can see blood filling the back line. It doesn't seem like access to me, but they say they have access. It's, and I don't have my notes in front of me for the exact time, but it was about 11:30 at this point, 11:28, 11:30. We'd been in that room since 10:22. They step back, seemingly content that after over an hour of torturing Mr. Carruthers, they get a second line. But again, blood is filling the line. The warden steps out. The warden steps back. Everyone is just standing in the room. Tony is in agony. He's in unimaginable distress. Then the phone in the execution chamber rings. I hear the warden answer it. And he's just, I can only hear his side. So he's yes, okay, and he hangs up. And at this point, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to continue. At this point, the level of incompetence and cruelty that I've witnessed, nothing would have surprised me in that moment, if I'm being honest. But the warden said, we're not doing this today. Well, he said, we're not doing this. And I said, today? And he said, not now, is all he would say. And then he directed the team to take the IVs out of Tony and to take him back to his cell. Tony was in agony when the IVs came out. There was a lot of blood coming out through the lines, and they took him to medical and they escorted us out of the prison. And then, of course, many of you were with me outside when I learned for the first time on camera, talking to a lot of you, that the reprieve was for a year. And I am grateful that the governor stopped this barbaric event and gave us a year. And I am here for Tony. And now what we have to do in that year is to let him heal emotionally, physically, and to continue to fight to prove what he's been saying for 30 years is that he's innocent of this crime. So it is my strong hope that the next thing I hear from the Attorney General or from the governor is we are going to allow the DNA testing that we have been fighting against for so long. And we are going to finally be able to show what Tony has been saying. And so what I'm doing now and what I've been trying to do is get a doctor in to see Tony. More difficult than you would think. I've already made an ask and it hasn't been granted yet. What are they hiding? Why can't we have medical access of an independent medical doctor to our client? Why is he still subjected to the treatment, the medical treatment at the Tennessee Department of Corrections, who so badly tried to end his life last week? I am committed to Tony's case. We are not going anywhere, and we will get to the bottom of this. Thank you.
Wow.
Executions carried out in the name of the people of Tennessee must meet the highest standards of competence and reliability. Both the ongoing litigation and the department's track record show repeated failures, ignored warnings, and preventable harm. Again, the torture inflicted on Mr. Carruthers last week was not just predictable, it was predicted, and TDOC should have prevented it. The Tennessee courts are in the process of reviewing the constitutionality of TDOC's 2025 lethal injection protocol. The courts must have time to complete that review, complete the review of our allegations and our complaint, and the events of last Thursday, to determine whether the state can reliably and competently execute its citizens. We ask Governor Lee to give time for the courts to complete that review and to do their job. I suspect there will be people who have some questions. If you want to direct it to one of us, let us know.
Michaela Redmond, Action News 5 out of Memphis. Maria, I just have some follow-up questions. I was there. We spoke last Thursday. First of all, how is Tony now? I know you were running back to tell him the news, also to get a checkup on him in medical. What can you share about all that?
I mean, again, I'm not going to share much about my attorney-client conversations with him, but he remains in distress, and we are trying to get a doctor in to see him.
Have you guys learned anything through discovery in any of the lawsuits that you have about the process in which TDOC hires the doctors, the members of the execution team, anything like that? Because I know that they had disclosed some documents about the protocol going into it, but have you learned about anything regarding qualifications to be hired there?
Besides what is included in the 2025 lethal injection protocol about the qualifications and requirements for their IV team, no. They rely on their state secrecy law to protect that information.
What?
I have a question about the, prior to this, there was a concern about the expiration on the drugs, and that is currently that issue is currently at the appeals court, is that right? For the expiration, like through the Knoxville case?
I'm not well informed enough about that to answer questions about it, but I do believe that there's a case at the Court of Appeals from the Eastern District. Yeah.
Sir? Yeah. Obviously, he has the 1-year reprieve in this case. If that 1 year comes up and they reschedule another possible execution of Mr. Carruthers, will your team be fighting to possibly call for an 8th Amendment cruel and unusual punishment as to a possible second try at executing Mr. Carruthers?
Yes, we will evaluate all of available legal options for Mr. Carruthers, and that is certainly something that's on the table, but I certainly hope that within the next year we will get to do this DNA testing that we've been asking for and get all of the records about the career paid informant that helped to frame Mr. Carruthers so that we won't even need to get there. But yes, all options are on the table.
If nothing changes with TDOC, what concerns you the most?
For Mr. Carruthers, again, I think I've been clear sort of in terms of what I think is next for him. I will let these lawyers who represent many other folks in Tennessee.
If nothing changes, this exact same thing could happen. We have an execution scheduled in August. There's nothing to suggest that this exact same thing, these exact same events wouldn't play out to Daryl Hines. In April of 2022, they hadn't tested the drugs. If nothing changes, if we have no assurances, we made repeated requests that they confirm that they weren't using expired drugs. They refused to provide those assurances. I think anything is on the table and all of it would be torturous.
What does this process look like for you guys? I know that execution is pretty much right around the corner, but the courts obviously need time to go through stuff. And what processes and steps are you guys taking to try and prevent some of this from repeating itself coming up?
The lawsuit, right? The litigation that we filed, the complaint, you'll get it as you leave, was filed last March. And since last March, we have been trying to hold TDOC accountable, trying to hold the state accountable. And like I said, in drafting this new protocol, they didn't remedy any of the issues that were identified in the Stanton report. They just obscured them. Vaguer standards, less assurances, fewer rules. And so if you have fewer rules, there are less rules for you to break. So we will continue to litigate in Davidson County Chancery Court and hope to be able to hold TDOC accountable.
So basically,
Your question, however, speaks to why we need a reprieve from the governor. That is to say, there are execution dates set this year. And so without a reprieve, that litigation won't have a chance to be completely heard, and the courts won't have a chance to get to the bottom of all these issues. So we appreciate your question, because that's important.
Have you guys reached out to the governor directly? Have you tried to send emails, phone calls to his office?
We were in touch with his office on Thursday, and we will remain in touch, trying to press him, asking him for this pause.
Is there any evidence showing that TDOC is actually following through with preserving the evidence from the alleged execution? Because I know that was a part of Friday's hearing with Chancellor Perkins.
We have asked that everything be preserved, and we trust that they will follow the court order, but that's where we are.
Amy, what's the status of the lawsuit right now? I know it had been set for trial.
There are a couple of outstanding motions that we're waiting to be ruled upon. So we are sort of in a holding pattern.
no new trial date.
There is a new trial date. It's currently set for the end of February 2027, I believe.
So is the other case?
We really appreciate all of you coming. We appreciate your attention to this important matter. Thank you for being here.
So this is why I said what I said, right? Because Ali, and if you can help me with this, because maybe did I hear this wrong? So the other case, so there's a case that they're talking about in the middle of Mr. Carruthers' case, and I think that's the Mr. Black, and they didn't have the EKG printer to read, and his heart was still beating. I don't think they made it clear whether or not did he finally expire or is, because they declared him deceased, but she's saying because they didn't have the EKG printer, they were unable to tell that he was still breathing. I'm going to take it that Mr. Black passed on, because right after that they moved to Mr. Carruthers. So right now, you know, for always, we watch in the video before, not the video before this one. The video before this one is reaction to the Jay-Z thing, but the video right before that one. Yesterday we watched the actual interview that the Danza Project did with Mr. Carruthers. He actually called in, so we got a chance to hear from him himself. If you haven't seen the interview and you get a minute, you can just take a look at that video, and you'll hear him. He seems to be in good spirits, but experiencing a lot of pain. Shout out to Kim Kardashian. I never thought that I would be here sitting and saying this 2 days in a row, but shout out to Kim Kardashian for the work that she does. He does speak highly of her, and though he's never spoken to her, phone to phone, he has spoken with her mentor. She has got behind him on this case, and it was just 18 days before the date that they attempted to execute him. She tried everything that she can try, but after the execution attempt was failed, Kim, he said Kim, had sent a message to get to him that it was, hey, y'all, this is crazy. Hey, Touche. Crazy is an understatement. I'm trying to find the words, because if some of you may not know, I am following a malpractice suit, but I am waiting for my divorce to be over first before I do that. And so it is not okay just because you are a doctor to play with someone else's life. It doesn't give you that right. If you don't know what you are doing, you shouldn't be doing it. This doctor seems to be very incompetent, because Mr. Carruthers is not the first person that this happened to. And how is everybody that's on that side, everybody that is on the other side that approve of all of this, even the warden in the jail. Well, I don't understand how the warden has that much power. I don't understand how the warden has that much power, like to be at an execution, to be making some of the calls in place that he's made. It's beyond me. This is disgusting. It's inhumane. And this is the reason number 2 of why I would never be able to sit for a DP case. I would never be able to do it, because you're playing God at this point. So Kim Kardashian did send a message to Mr. Carruthers to tell him Once she found out that the execution attempt failed, that she believed that this was God ordained, and I do believe, and I didn't go follow her yet. I was supposed to do that yesterday, but we were the lie was late, Allie, so I didn't. So I'm going to do it today. I really want to find out whether or not she has a separate channel just for this type of work that she does. So she told him that she believed that it was, God intervening, and that's the same thing that I was thinking, that this is nothing but, it was done in a torturous way. To hear him speak after going through this grueling process, this barbaric process, and now what are they hiding? This is all illegal. It is all illegal. This is a DP case. If his attorneys want a independent doctor to come and take a look at what is going on with their client, and they are blocking that from all of the angles that they can, they're covering up something. You don't even have to, get any writing on paper or anything to know that they are covering up something. Nobody's loved ones should go through this. And in this case, where they allegedly have evidence that has not been tested in this case, where they do have, there's supposed to be proof that the paid informant in this case admitted that he goes around setting people up and he gets paid for it. And they said that if they did not have this paid informant saying that Mr. Carruthers committed this crime, they would have to open up the doors and let him walk out of the jail. So what are they doing? Not to mention, I'm not understanding. It's still not clicking in my head, because it doesn't make sense how you have a doctor that basically being able to start a central line for a doctor is minimal. That's something that's, it doesn't, for a doctor, it doesn't take a doctor that much to do that. It does not. And with today's technology, I don't know what type of technology they do have, but I do think that she did say that I think they have access to the ultrasound method that I was telling you guys about before they came on there, because she did say they were able to visually see that there was a vein, and that's how they were able to start like the line that still was, it didn't work. Anytime you have a backflow of blood coming out this way and nothing is going in the line, into the line, that means that the line is failed. It's not happening. So Touche said it depends on the type of doctors. Many can't do it. You may be right. All of the doctors, at least that that I've known, they've been able to do like a central line, but if you know better, Touche said they all may not be able to do it. In this case, then, this doctor said, was heard by the media saying that he didn't know how to do it, but he asked, did anybody else in the room know how to do it? And when this man's attorney said, you cannot, she had objected to them starting the central line because it was heard that he said he didn't know how to do it and he wasn't qualified to do it. He then started arguing with her and told her, oh, he absolutely knew how to do it. And he proceeded to get a central line. He is not qualified to start the central line. And that's what he admitted out loud. And so that's why she said what she said. But to me, it seemed like he didn't even know how to get a basic start a basic IV. Okay, so Touche saying it's not a part of the practice for many specialties. Okay, so then if that's a if they're going to be using that type of um if that's going to be an access point for where they can't start lines in other parts of the body, then I would think that they would need to have a qualified doctor that is able to start a central line on on their team. And if this doctor is unqualified, the way they have said out of the way they heard him say out of his own mouth, he shouldn't have been allowed to use Mr. Carruthers as a guinea pig um, to try out whether or not he would be able to start the line. That's like throwing something up against the wall and hoping that something sticks. Is the way I look at it. So many doctors never really start IVs either after med school. Most of the time, that's a nursing thing. I understand that. In my case, I've in my case, I'm just speaking about myself. Normally, the nurses start putting an IV on somebody like myself. I have small veins that roll. And a lot of times, and I can't use my left arm for anything because I had a lymph node dissection because my cancer had spread to the lymph nodes under my left arm. So they cannot use my left arm to start an IV or for anything, to take blood for anything. They just put a limb restriction ban on my arm if I go to the hospital for anything. So normally the nurses they always start doing the IV. Start an IV line. A lot of times it may be phlebotomists coming to get medication and they start it because they just leave it in there just in case they're going to put like an IV in there. They tape it back and do all of that. In my case, a lot of times it doesn't work for them. They already know. So they call the phlebotomist, phlebotomy manager. And they're supposed to be like the top-notch people to get the vein. In some cases, they in most of my cases, they have to call the emergency room doctor in. Whoever's the emergency doctor in the emergency room, normally they call them in and they are able to start a line. I've had to have emergency surgery where they had to use, and they rarely go here, where they had to put the IV in my neck. That IV was started by the doctor in the emergency room. At the same time as they were putting me to sleep, they had to stick because I went into the emergency room for something emergency and woke up and had to have emergency surgery, so they needed to do what they needed to do. And so the ER doctor did start that line in my neck. But now what they have is the ultrasound machines that they are using for people like me that is a hard stick. They now insert the IV using an ultrasound. And normally they have like where I live, it's not the phlebotomist. They are a step above the phlebotomist and they come around, or sometimes the doctor uses it and the doctor's done it. So I've had a doctor do it on 2 occasions, but then they do have people that are actually go to school for that. And that's what they do. I forgot which team they call them, but a lot of my IVs are started by the ER doctor. So I think that IVs is like the bottom of the, most doctors don't do it, but for the most part, nurses do. But when you're somebody like me that has a hard stick, then I'm a hard stick and they need to get an IV. Something's going on with me, the doctors normally step in and do it. Yep. Some ICU doctors are the doctors that mostly start central lines. So central lines is different from like the basic IV. Like a basic IV, basically, when they're putting these people to death, they're using a basic ID line. They only needed to use a central line on him because they had stuck him in so many places so many times that was it wasn't a last resort, because after they tried to get that central line, they went in his shoulder. So they did try to stick him again after that. They have used the vein finder for baby A. Yes, it is a wonder worker. Anytime she's been taken into emergency or had MRIs, and that's because her veins are terrible to find and roll and collapse every time. Yeah, me and baby A, she's that's why she's my girl, because it's the same thing with me. But they do have that now, which is something, it's a lifesaver that they do have the vein finder, but they do it through ultrasound. It has been a godsend, because normally they just get the doctor to start my IV line. A lot of times, because I had chemotherapy, my veins are still not good anyway, so a lot of times they just blow up. So normally when they find it with the finder, I have a better outcome with that. But this guy couldn't even, this doctor is just, he's incompetent all the way around. Why is he still there? This is not like this is an isolated incident. It's just a horrible one. And I want to know what happened with Mr. Black, though, because she just said that they didn't have the EKG printer, the paper at the time. So they were just trying to execute him without an EKG reading. What good is the machine if you don't have, you're not able to read it? You don't have anything printing off to be able to read it. And so she said that he was still breathing. Had they had the EKG paper, that they would have saw that when they pronounced him unalive, that he was still breathing, Mr. Black, that is. And to get a 5-year-old to sit still after poking and poking, to get an adult to even what will cooperate for them without having how many nurses. Yeah, it's very grueling to watch. I want to know what happened with Mr. Black, because they kind of left us on the cliffhanger with Mr. Black. I'm pretty sure that go up in the chat, explain what happened. Oh, okay. When you asked earlier if he finally expired. Okay, yeah, I didn't see that. It was just a comments were Mr. Black, Dr. Carrying Mr. Black. What happened to Mr. Black? It's horrible. But Touche, thank you so much for the clarification. I thought that they all knew. I see you, Ali. You said go up in the chat for Mr. Black. Yeah, I'm looking. I thought that they all. I thought that they all knew, because it's always a doctor that starts mine. The nurses there, I let them know in advance. Listen, I'm not somebody that gives a hard time, because I know that I'm a hard stick. And yeah, but you can't use this for anything, because sometimes they don't even see the limb restriction band on my arm. It's a common misunderstanding. Yeah, I every time I go to the hospital, until they got the vein finder, the doctor will start my IV. They won't have approved for him. Let's see, Mr. Black. Oh, Mr. Black, I see it. Oh, so Mr. Black did finally expire. But wait a minute. And for Mr. Black, they had the printer. The doctor just failed to look at it. Oh, I thought they didn't have the paper in there for him too. What? And for Mr. Black, they had the EKG printer. The doctor, I thought they had the printer but no paper. I know in Tony's case, his attorney said they put printer on there, but I don't think it was the EKG print. Girl, this is a whole mess. The doctor just failed to look at it and confirm his heart was no longer beating. The doctor declared Mr. Black expired after it showed that his heart was still going, and that was Dr. Fowler as well, same doctor. Yeah, so Touche is saying it's a common misunderstanding. And so, yeah, that's, that is. So, thank you so much for clarifying that for us. This is just crazy on so many levels. I am going to see if Kim Kardashian does have anything, because I think Mr. Carruthers said she has it on her. Mr. Carruthers know more about what's going on out here on social media than I do when it comes to Kim Kardashian or anybody like that. So let me look at her on Twitter. I just hit follow. Is this the same page that she does, or does she have a different page for the work that she does? What date was that around? I'll look for her later to see. I'm on her Twitter because I wanted to see what she had on here as it related to this case. But he also said that she works through, for this type of work that she does, she works through her mentor. No, the doctor just didn't look at the printout with Mr. Black. Yep. So that is crazy, but it was the same doctor. So Allie says, at Touche, thank you for your knowledge about that and sharing that with us. So now we do understand 100. Yes. The doctor just doesn't look at it. She says, of course. I want to see, I wonder, so he said that mainly her Kim Kardashian's mentor is the person that they actually speak to her through. She works with them. So basically, and he has an understanding, Mr. Carruthers does at least. I said, oh wow, he got this social media down packed, better than a lot of us. He understands that just by Kim Kardashian using her platform just to talk about these cases, like he said, is helpful enough for him. But I do know that she goes out of her way to kind of use her connections to get to the president or whoever she needs to get things done. And, to that, all I can say is we have to take our hats off to her when it comes to that, because a lot of people do not have the access, and a lot of people do have the access and they will not use it for things such as this. So that's because I know that she gets a lot of flack when she does this type of work. I've seen people give her a lot of flack. I never said anything one way or another about Kim about this, but I am going to say, like, she has been consistent, and she does actually speak out against these things. And so he said that it was just 18 days before the execution attempt that she did come forward, but he had emailed her at her over like 10 times, I believe. So if I speak, did you hear about Diddy's? Oh, I saw it. Yeah, I see it all over the place. I don't even know. I don't even think that I would. They said it's true that he has a Tootsie Roll. I saw it. I've seen it scrolling through. I've seen, yeah, child. That's something that I'm not going to go live about. I don't listen. I don't have the mental capacity and time for that right now, but it is funny. I did see. And I'm wondering who leaked that. And somebody has put out, what a good question is? You know that when the trial was going on, you could not say Jane Doe's name, right? And so now they just out here just like, oh, I'm just saying what the people are saying, what they got posted. Oh, that's Daphne Joy in the video. And now she's back to making her sexy and provocative posts on Instagram, and now feeling confident that that's past her. And you know what just flashed through my mind when I just asked the question? The answer could have flashed right in my head. Half dollar. Did you get a hold too? Because half dollar, half dollar will take it there. I didn't see it on X. I just see that people are posting about it. I didn't look it up. It was on X. That's where it originated from. Because you can put anything on X. Lord, I don't think I want to see that. I saw somebody posted it behind the blur. And I didn't even want to even see it that far. Not the Tootsie Roll. Child, that's what they said that is in the video, because he's in the video in the corner doing the things that they said that he'd be doing, but he was giving out the instructions to her on what to do while this other man was. That's all. It's that's just the visual without seeing the real thing is just too much for me to handle. I don't think I want to see that. But yeah, that is funny that they said. It is true about the Tootsie Roll thing, but I didn't go looking for the video. That's crazy. I'm telling you, if you go look at her Instagram, she's back to making her content very sensual. Everything is, even though she does have a swimwear line and she has a dress line, everything is, to me, that she posts is over sexualized. Like she does it in such a way where it's hard for people to not clown her, but most of the time she gets praises in the comments, because we are not supposed to know that she's Jane Doe in this case. We all know that. So I don't know. He all around is way too much for me to handle. Yes, I just can't. He probably did leak it. Yes, they say it was on X and you can actually see it. Child, I'm not going to look for that video. I do not need to have, remember, that visual of, Diddy. Remember, I have the transcripts from when Cassie testified. And when it was just, it was too much for me then. So that's what I had realized, that Inner City Press was doing such a great job on X. Let's just go on over there and get what he got to say, because the transcripts was killing me with all of that stuff. Just she had to testify to. But this is a bit much. So yeah, I wonder if half dollar. I'm just gonna say half dollar, because y'all picking up what I'm putting down. You picking up what I'm putting down. I wonder if half dollar because he is petty. He is petty and paid, and he got the money to do it. So I don't know. I wonder who. But if that was evidence in a federal case, who would have access to that, though? Even if, let's take $50 out of the equation, right? Because we don't really know. But who would have access to that if that is information that only the feds are supposed to have? That's their evidence. So, stranger things are happening. Maybe, distract. Let's talk about Diddy. Let's forget about what's going on in the I don't put anything past them. Let's forget about what's going on around the world. Let's distract here with this. Yeah, let's put this all over, because we need a distraction. It all goes hand in hand to me. But yeah, I do know about it. Am I going to go look at no, I'm not looking for that. I'm already traumatized enough by Ali said by him. I don't need any more trauma by seeing the Tootsie Roll. Me either. I don't, I'll just take their word for it. I'll just take their word. Tisa Tells is all over that. I saw that she posted something and I was like, she has it all blurred out, but she still posted and talked about it. I don't think I'll be putting any of my good work to use making a video. I won't be giving him any of my good time making a video about him really having a Tootsie Roll. That's crazy. How about them charges the new charges they're trying to bring against him? How about those? Talk about that. Because they are saying that they are trying to bring the new charges against him, which we already knew was going to be coming. They didn't use everything that they had in the last case that he had. And I don't think he did himself any favors by drinking. They make what they call hooch in the jails, allegedly. Let me say allegedly. Drinking that stuff in jail and being caught and all that. So I don't think he did himself any favors, because that goes against the guidelines that they would release him on, because he still would be on supervised parole or probation, which one it was, but also he would be prohibited from drinking, doing any type of drugs or anything of the sort, because that was a part of what was going on with the case. So him being behind bars and allegedly drinking hooch, and that hooch is strictly made to get drunk. I do, touche. I don't need you to help me out with this one. They do. That's what they do. They make in jail. Yep, they save all of like the fruit, and they let it get rotten. That's crazy how that stuff is made out of. Yeah, they let the fruit sit until it's not good, and they make that stuff in there too. So finding did y'all give them a D-rug test, because they get that in there too. So I don't know, but it's unfortunate, for it to come to fruition and be true that he has a Tootsie Roll. I just don't want to see that. I don't even like Tootsie Rolls. I I don't. I don't even like Tootsie Rolls. I used to, but a little bit. I used to like them a little bit. Now I don't like them at all. I don't want to be eating on candy that every time I go to eat, I get P Diddy pops up in my head. No, thank you. You can have that. I don't want any. Warning, if y'all let me see what Allie, you on one tonight. Warning y'all, if you happen to come across or see a Tootsie Roll, turn the other way, right? For your day. Allie, you know better than you're supposed to misspell that the DA and the MEN. Life, just take the advice. I'm just trying to save the fam. You're out of control tonight, girl. Out of control. But that is hilarious. Yeah, I don't want none. I no longer, the brown ones anyway. I do like the flavorful ones, but I really don't get those. I haven't even had any of those in a while. But, as far as, child, that's why he out here throwing around and slanging women. And so maybe he think that he was doing a little see Allie, you bringing out the petty enemy. I try to keep her at bay. And that's why maybe he thought he was doing charity work out here when he was bringing in these men that can actually satisfy his women, because he could. And so I get it now. He should have used that as his defense. Diddy, what is wrong with you? You should have went up there and said, I can show y'all the evidence. I don't have nothing but a Tootsie Roll. How was I going to be able to keep this woman? No amount of money would keep her with me, with just what I got. I can show y'all. I have Exhibit A right here. Can I show y'all the Tootsie Roll so you'll understand why I did what I did? He might have got a little more sympathy if he would have took that way. If he would have went that way, I guess. For always says she could never eat one again. Me either. For always, I don't want none. I don't need no. Nope. I didn't know that word is on the not okay list. My bad. No, I think it's any curse word, it's tell you to misspell it. They have some very interesting guidelines over here. Most other social media sites don't use the guidelines like YouTube uses them. What they do on X, it doesn't matter. You can say whatever the heck you want on X. Instagram, you may, depending if they detect that you're being mean to somebody on Instagram now, it doesn't even have to be a curse word. You can type a response to somebody, and because whatever systems they're using, you might say that is a little too harsh. You think you want to rethink your comment, and they won't post it until you change it. Yeah. So anywho, but I think that he would have did better with that defense. I'm just telling y'all, I wanted to be a lawyer a long time ago. Survivor Speak. I wonder what Mr. Pett working on with his co-CEO Petty. Ha ha. I wonder what Mr. Petty is up to, or working on with his co-CEO. Are you talking about the Mr. Petty? Are you talking about Ken? What is he working on? Are you talking about Ken Alley? Wait, let me see something. No, but Allie, when you say Mr. Petty, are you talking about Mr. Ken Petty? Or am I thinking the wrong way? Yeah, IG says you're bullying. They do. Yeah, you might want to rethink that. Mr. Petty, I'll take you to the oh, yeah. Who knows? Who knows? That's why okay, see, I was calling him half dollar. Um, I don't know what he's working on. I wonder what happened to his case because he had filed for sole custody of his son. I don't know what happened to that case, and that was a while ago, so they should have already went through that. I don't know what he's working on, but I'm pretty sure that he's gonna have a field day with this one. Let me go over there and look to see if he posted anything. Hold on a minute, because child, if he behind it, he may not hold on, let me see. Let me see if we got anything coming out of the camp over there. Let me see. If you're in here, please hit the like button if you before you leave. Lord, why you send me over there, Allie? Oh my gosh. What in the whole entire what, Allie? Why you send me over there, Allie? I just went to his IG page, and what do I see? Pick your phone up and type in go to his page on ID, because I'm not putting that up over here. He don't even have it blurred, but he's not showing anything. Child, he's not showing anything, but you could just tell that what's her name is in the he got his baby mama up there. Ooh, he got her picture up there. Oops, social users react to alleged footage of Diddy, 50 Cent's BM, Daphne Joy, and E. Oh, he got it. So he put it up there because the neighborhood talk put it up there. And it's out of court. So I'm wondering, it doesn't hold the same weight. But girl, he got the post up there. He got a picture up here. So he took the whole post from the neighborhood talk, and he just reposted it to his page. And a male escort surfacing online. I'm side-eyeing every chick that been with him. Now, the neighborhood talk said that. So 50 Cent says she's not a victim. I'm saying his name now because he got it posted. She's not a victim. Sire is. Can you imagine going to 8th grade to find out this is your mom? The court system in LA thinks it's fine. Ooh, and then why you got, oh my God, Geisha 305 is over here talking about Daphne is off the chain. Child, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. 50 Cent. Allie, why you bring this? I didn't even think to go over it because I was just kind of like going to just, bypass that whole narrative. I saw it and I'm like, yeah, okay. But baby, they got it on all the blogs. So I guess she can't say that, she can't say that he started it. He's just reposting what somebody else put up. But he got more than one post up, all right? He has that one, and then he has the one where it just shows, but it's really obscured. Like, you really can't, and it says the next post, Free Diddy, he has gone through enough being born with no, oh my gosh. being what? No, entire. Oh my gosh, Allie, why did you ask what he was up to? Did you go look? Okay. Look at what he wrote in the first, because I'm not even gonna, I can't even say the last part. He says he has gone through enough being born with no, basically he don't have no he got, oh my gosh, laughed out loud. Tea time with Tree said, you gotta be stopped. Child. 6 hours and 5 hours ago. Well, there you have it. You was wondering what he was doing. This is what he's doing. So, he got the news. So he must have not won the case to get his son full time sole custody of his son, because he said that the LA thinks, the court system in LA thinks it's fine. So maybe he didn't get what he wanted out of that case, but he sure enough has these pictures. I feel bad for, and I'll say it all the time because I see a lot of people saying that we should not feel bad for him. I do feel bad for the twins, and I feel bad for his other two daughters. The sons, they can kick rocks with in a pair of flip-flops. But his daughters, I do feel sorry for those girls. To have to keep receiving the backlash. You have some people that don't even care about them and says they were born privileged with a silver spoon in their mouths, and F them. They still got enough money to do all this stuff, so they don't care about their feelings. I'm not that harsh when it comes to the children. They have nothing to do with this. Those girls have nothing to do with how their father and their brothers act, and I just don't think that they should be held accountable for their actions. Any support or any signs of unity that they've shown as it relates to their father, we still have to understand that he is still their father. They have already lost their mother, allegedly at the hands of, let me just leave that there because I'm not going to touch that. But they've already lost their mother, and I don't believe that those girls should be it is not their responsibility to bear the brunt of their father's bad decisions and bad acts. So I'll always have empathy and sympathy for those girls, all of them. And just because that they have money does not make them exempt from having feelings. All of us get depressed. When it comes to certain things, I can only imagine what they go through in private, because they're only showing you what they are, in public, what they are doing. Well, I'm pretty sure when they're in private, they have moments where they talk. We don't know whether these girls are depressed because of what's going on. And then now if they come out here popping it, that would mean one thing. But I do understand the difference in coming out here and popping it and coming out here and showing a united front, because that is what your father is asking you to do, or that is what your brothers are asking you and instructing you to do. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, he is still the only living parent that they have. So I do feel sympathy and empathy for those girls. So he is unhinged, petty type for real. Yeah, I just think everybody, I never want to be up against 50 Cent ever. If that's all Diddy has, I wonder if that's all the sons have. What they say, like father, like son. Listen. I don't know. You have to try that. You have to find out from somebody that's tried it. I don't know. So definitely feel bad for the daughters. I do. But you have some people that are just ruthless. They don't care about those girls, and they equate everything to money. And so, yeah, well, they have money and this, that, and the third. No, they have money, but they have feelings. And this is their father. They already lost their mother. They're taking directions from people that are PR and showing the United a front for their father. That's all that they've ever known is their father. And so that's all that they have to look forward to, the day that, he is set free, if he is ever to walk the streets again. So, they can go and see him in a visiting hall. They can write, they can talk to him on the phone and do all that. But then, those are his children. And so they actually want to be able to have their father come out on the street and be able to touch him and go on vacation with him again and do all the things that they did with him. I don't think that he has subjected those girls to any of his bad behavior. Definitely his sons. He has, brought them up in that way. But I do not think that he did what he did to other women to his children, to his girls. I just don't see that. Coming from him, even though he thinks that it's okay for him to do to somebody else's daughters. I don't think that he's ever I don't think he's raised those girls in that way. So, and I believe that he protected them at all costs. So, I'm not. It's not going to be me. You'll never hear me say anything bad about those girls. I actually prayed that they would be successful and be able to go forward with whatever careers they chose to go with, whatever they're choosing to do, whether it be their modeling career or anything moving forward, whether they decide to do movies or whatever they do. I'm hoping that they are successful in that. I do believe that Albie Shore's son is the only one that's not been a part of this stuff, but I do also, and this is just me, my thoughts, I do also believe that he may even be a victim. I do believe that. It's just certain things that is just a little suspect to me, and we don't have any proof. I'm hoping that that is not the case, but there's just like some things that's just like, yeah, I don't know. So, but the other two, they are little monsters out here in these streets. And so they both have cases that are still ongoing. So, and that's because that's the way the father brought them up. The parties that I saw him throw with all of these children at them, because they were children at the time, but it was like you're going to a grown-up cocktail party, but it's a bunch of kids dressed in suits and they're there and they're dancing and they're all this other stuff. And then he's saying, we're going to go on the boat later. I saw that video and I was just like, oh my goodness. And Keke Palmer was there getting down. It was like, I said, well, Keke Palmer, I hope nothing ever. But okay, I saw a video of, it was a one party. I want to say it was Justin's 18 party when he turned 18 or something like that. I mean, there was liquor flowing, all of the children were not 18, you can tell. And look, they was doing a lean with it, rock with it. It was a lot going on. I said, this is a whole grown up party. And it's very a lot of inappropriate things. It was just way too much. And there was a lot of grown adult people from the industry and mingled in with those teenagers. So, and I just was like, oh wow, oh okay, well, I haven't seen him in a while, but he has. Oh, okay, well, wow, like, why are you all here partying with these teenagers? Yeah, so there was a lot of video and stuff that came out. So Flash Speaks, now I got me some school ice cream scrolling at $1 page. You know what I'm going over here the rest of tonight. Listen, I am not about to sit there and mess with that man I just saw the two posts that he made about the neighborhood talk, and then one that he put up of himself. Um, the one he put up himself of Diddy. I'm not about to go over there and go on his page because listen, I try to tell these people to go run, fight for your life. Don't go over there messing with 50 Cent because it's not even funny. Everybody is like, I made that mistake when he was going back and forth with Jim Jones and Mano and them, and it was just a movie that was unfolding on his page, and people are like, "Where's he getting the footage from?" Yeah, did y'all think that he was playing when he said that he went and bought the building? He put the call up on his page when he was talking to the man that owned the building. He bought the building. When he say he gonna do something, he does it. And so why do you think he's getting the footage? He is the one that locked them out of the office. Their little space that they was videoing their podcast out of. He may not have physically went there and did it, but he owns the building. He hires people to go in there. Hey, go in there and lock this up and do this. He doesn't need to be there on his own. What are you talking about? Leave that guy alone. He got too much money. He has too many sources. He has way more. Like, yeah, you can't. And then now he has Jim Jones breaking into their spot, and so now if you wanted to be really petty, he would go and press charges because you bust the door down on camera. But he just posted it to his page. So yeah, I'm not messing around with him tonight. If you see a Netflix docs on me, you know something happened with me on his page. Save yourself, Allie. Get away from there. Save yourself. Yeah, I don't mess with 50 Cent. I'm still trying to figure out. He spared Clarissa Shields, and she had continued to come for him, and he kind of like gave her a little break. He did what he did. He stepped back, but she had still been coming for his neck, and I'm like, what is going on? Why? Like he's really took it, slowed down with her. She kept going. She kept going. She kept going, and I just was like, this girl don't. She doesn't even. She is so in need of some mental health care. She does not even realize what she's up against. And then the last thing was just totally off the chain when she said that Papoose would be his. You know what? Papoose didn't ask you to do that. He don't want to be out here in those streets. Do you know that 50 Cent used to train as a boxer? He was a boxer when he was a young, as a younger kid. So do you really want or think that Papoose, she's just out of line when it comes to a whole lot of things. And if you see me, I see a Netflix doc on me, I better have a lot of Score ice cream in it, Mr. Half Dollar. He probably gonna go and buy a Score and then not give you none. That's how petty he is. I'm gonna go buy the Ice King brand Score and then keep it. I'm the only one that's gonna be eating it from here on out. That's the type of petty he is. That's the level of petty 50 is on. I would never you would never hear me responding negatively to 50 Cent because in 5 minutes, like he clowned his own self. He made an AI video of himself, and he was sitting Indian style with jeans on. And, sometimes AI doesn't generate exactly how you want it. So one leg of the jeans went down, and it looked like it was part of a shoe or something, and people was pointing it out. And he went under his post and he put, all you people that are on here picking at my shoe, this is bullying me, and you're bullying me. I feel very afraid, and I feel bullied. And I was like, you know what? He trolling y'all while y'all think y'all trolling him. He trolling y'all right back. Like, I don't give a damn about what y'all saying. It's AI. Yeah, I know it's AI, and that's just that. But he had perfected that AI stuff. I was like, oh, this is just too dangerous for to have him be as accurate with AI as he is. I can imagine the level of petty that he's going to take this. But who's to say what he's working on? He may get inspiration from this stuff that they just put out. And because he's not the one that put it out, this may be a way around how he's able to talk about Daphne Joy. So, because he's not, I'm pretty sure he's consulting with an attorney. How about I want to use this now as part of whatever he's putting out, and because he said he has way more um, material to put out a Surviving Diddy Part Two. So we know that he'll do it. So yeah, 50, he is funny. If I do go to 50th page, I don't stay long. I don't want to hit no button. I don't want to hit the wrong button. I don't want to hit nothing. I don't need him doing anything to me because, like, listen, he been got your whole life in 10 minutes. We're not trying to do that. So anyway, y'all, I'm about to get out of here. It has been 2 hours. Thank you so much for coming and rocking out with me. I am going to be following Kim Kardashian to see and hear anything about that comes up with Mr. Carruthers. I'll be trying to follow it myself. Allie, if you see anything, just text me and let me know. We'll go ahead and pull up over here and cover it. If you watch it over on Twitter, you're still with us. Thank you so much for watching. The support means everything. And you can hit the like button for the free 99. There are other ways that you can support the channel. They are on the yeah, I like the new background. I'm trying. I'm branded. Even though I'm not live like I should, I still am rebranding. So I think this is going to be my final look. I'm really feeling this. I'm really feeling the breast cancer avatar. Shout out to Stewie, the Hunchback on Insta. She's one of my favorite people. I've been rocking out with her for a long time. She does a lot of she has a lot of great content over on Instagram. Go follow Stewie the Hunch. She's been around for a long time. I've been rocking out with Stewie for about 6-7 years. So yeah, I do a lot of talking to her like behind the scenes. She's very helpful when you need her, but we linked on something else, a video that she had put together. She's just as funny as 50 Cent. That's the female version of 50 Cent. It's petty. She is giving heaven spelled backwards a run for her money right about now. I just don't even want to say her name on my channel. But she's giving her a run for her money right now, and it is hilarious. But she is mainly on Instagram. So she actually did the avatar graphic that you see with the breast cancer skirt and the fist in the air, in the SS2U with the breast cancer ribbon. She actually created that. And then I also use branding for Instagram now, where it says Survivor Speak. You'll see it in one arch. She actually created that. But everything else on the here is I actually fed it to what gave my idea and what I wanted, and this is what we came up with. So I did the rest, but shout out to Stewie the Hunchback for my avatar lover. Love it, love it, love it. Bunch of breast cancer ribbons. That's a skirt. And so yeah, I love it, love it, love it. So I was like, you know what, let me just change the my background for here. I actually, now you'll see, I just did a new ending version of this. I'll be playing it once I go with the outro, and I'm probably going to redo that last ending where I just end the stream and then you see Survivor Speaks at the end. I'm probably going to change that. I just have to think about it, and I'm going to be doing a new intro video. I just trying to put my mind to what I want to do. I also have a series coming out. It's called the Pink Mile Club. I've shared what it's about on Instagram, where I'm just having some issues with, and I wanted to have the first episode sold out already, but I'm having some issues with, I'm just trying to work it out. I have the visuals and the graphics up, but getting the characters to speak, that's all something in a whole different, something that's totally different. And in between lifing and everything that's going on with me, yeah, my time is sometimes just so limited. I'm tired, y'all. I'll be glad when I'm just done with this whole part of my life and where I can actually focus in on what I want to focus in on. So next big hit for $50, I'll take you to the petty shop, give you a look at all. God. Don't give him no ideas, please. And he's touring. It's still out there singing his old music. Is still relevant. He's been on tour in between doing everything else that he does. So what I'm going through, I'm like 50 Cent going through a whole lot too. He doing a whole lot, but he got a whole big team. I don't. How about that? So yeah, so it wouldn't be me if I didn't end the show by bringing awareness that men get breast cancer too because of the stigma surrounding the word breast. We have changed the word to peck and or chest cancer over here on the Survivor Speaks channel. We're going to keep bringing awareness that men get breast cancer too. And to all of my ladies, please make sure you are getting your mammograms and filling on your boobies to make sure that you are all right. All right. And don't you dare let anyone come into your house and disturb the peace that passes all understanding. I'm Survivor Speaks. So see you guys in the next video. Peace. If you made it this far, you're officially part of Survivor Nation. So do me a quick favor, smash that like button, hype the video, share this video with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to turn on all notifications so you'll be the first to know when I go live or upload new content. Thank you for your continued support. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'm Survivor Speaks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.